You just tell me a little bit about how the school is reacting to the proposed cuts, or what are your feelings about it, and what you guys plan to do with what's on the table right now?
Well, we're reacting very much the same as many of the schools on Long Island are reacting. Um, we're looking at lots of budget cuts. We're looking at cutting a lot of teachers, and it's going to have a great impact on the students because we don't have all the teachers that we need currently. This is a district that is already in deficit. We have been $2.5 million in deficit over the last 2 years. And the state did come down and required us to balance our books. Come to find out that there are a lot of schools on Long Island that are in this deficit, but they weren't asked to balance their books. We did, and we cut some teachers last year. For the last 2 years, we've cut teachers. The reason that we were in deficit is because we realized that if we had cut services, the only way that you're not going to stay in deficit in a community like Wyandanch is if you have a business tax base, and Wyandanch has very, very little business. The tax dollars, if we want to increase our revenues here for the school, we'd have to tax the community. That's the homeowners. And this community is already overtaxed. They're paying as much taxes as I'm paying, and I live and go in the Half Olive Hill School District. And they don't have the resources in this school district that they need. They want it. They just can't afford it. That's why it's important that we receive the state aid, the federal aid. If that's cut, that means that we're going to cut even deeper into the programs that we have here. We'll have to reduce. We have only one AP class right in Wyandanch right now. We may have to cut that one AP class that we have. That class right now only has about 12 students, but there are 12 students who need that higher functioning class. But because it's only 12 students, you would cut that class because there are not so many students in it as opposed to a regular English teacher. We don't have many elective courses here. For every subject, it might be one elective course. So English, Math, Social Studies, Science, you might have one elective. We would have to probably cut out those elective courses. That means that there's nothing to enhance the education for students here. You just get the basic education. So that tax aid is extremely important. It also will mean, in a district like Wyandanch, it will mean possibly less administration. We currently have 3 administrators in this building: the principal, the AP, the assistant principal, and the dean. This community is a community that has a lot of issues, and so you need the staff. You need a staff that can deal with the problems that come into our door. There are lots. We have a high foster care in the district. We have one-parent homes, and so the kids are not coming to us with the best social behaviors, besides an academic behavior as well. So with less administration, you have less people to be able to handle the problems that are coming in. Look at my desk, you'll see the paperwork that's here. And I'm usually at many, many meetings. So if you have one administrator, who is going to be in the building when I have to take care of the administrative things besides the social piece of being in the hallway? That's why it's important to have a dean or an AP. So it's not realistic. It's just not realistic to think that you're going to run this building with any less administrators that we have right now. Staff, in terms of secretarial staff in the building, is right now challenging for us. The amount of work that's generated, we used to have 3 in the office, but because of the previous cuts, we now have 2. It's possible that we may be down to 1. That's 1 secretary working with the dean, the AP, and the principal. And a possibility of even cutting a secretary working with the guidance counselor. So, and that's all to meet these cuts that are going to be coming down, possibly losing $4 million. $4 million, to lose that in this district, you have to cut everywhere, completely everywhere. Administration, teachers, secretarial, all staff. We cut buildings and grounds, security. It would not make for a safe environment in Wyandanch.
Okay.
At this point.
You basically answered all 3 of my questions in one. But if you have anything else to add on that you want to say that that you feel like you need to add on? That's perfectly fine. You can.
I would say that you know, the government should really look at how it distributes its funds. It's not, we don't necessarily need to equally distribute funds to every school. There are communities in New York City that are getting a lot of the monies are coming from the businesses. We don't have, in 4 square miles, in Wyandanch, there are 4 square miles, and they're very small little mom and pop shops versus big department stores and companies that are in the city. Even if you go to Nassau, you go to the malls that they have out there in Uniondale, those districts, who are also going to be affected, but they have a bigger business tax base. They should really look at the districts like Wyandanch and that don't have the ability to raise those kinds of funds without overtaxing its community, the homeowners in the community. There's no way that they would ever pass a budget. If we were to pass a budget right now, we would be looking at a double-digit 22% tax increase on the tax rate in this community. That's just maintaining what we currently have right now. That's not improving the program. That's not putting anything in for inflation. 21 or 22% is what it would have to go up to maintain what we currently have. So they need to really look at the formula and determine which school districts need more, because they have a higher need. My own school district, Half Hollow Hills, that's where my kids go. They don't have the same kinds of needs that our students have. We have a very high special education population. And so to educate special education students costs 3 times as much. We probably have 10 times as much special education students than they do, or more than that. So the money needs to be distributed a little bit differently for high needs districts such as Wyandanch, I would say.